Morning, everyone. I forgot how hard it is to keep up with doing a vlog, but as many of you may know, if you've been following me, I have this studio here in Brooklyn. This is where I go to get my everyday work done. I wanted to try starting up this like week in a life type of thing, so I'm just gonna be carrying the camera around and recording whatever it is I do. So I'll just have you follow along with me, any interesting things that happen each and every day. I'll just be trying to record stuff, so I'm gonna try and get back in this game, and I'll take you along with me. So this is one of my favorite purchases here at the studio. Jess got this for me instead of me needing to buy a microwave to heat up my lunches here. This is pretty much a like insulated bag, and there is a heat pad in there. So all I have to do is plug this in, and we'll pretty much cook any meals that I have. And I've been pretty much buying these lunches at the grocery store by us, and basically just pop this in here, and after maybe an hour or so, this thing will be properly heated up, and this thing just perfectly fits in there. But yeah, this is pretty much my lunch, and I can do this instead of needing to have a full-blown microwave in studio. So I do have a mini little project to do here today, which is I have this rubber plant. I was actually growing it in a pot here in the studio, and the lower parts started browning and leaves were starting to fall off, so I ended up cutting off the top because it looked like something was happening and it was dying, and I ended up just plopping it into a jar with water and just try and let it propagate and grow some roots. And as you can see right there, it is growing a bunch of roots, and you can actually see a leaf is now coming out of the top. So since this has got a bunch of roots in it now, I just wanted to drop it into this pot with some soil and have it start growing in some soil. So I actually brought some soil from my apartment over here to the studio, and I'm just gonna drop this plant in here and get it in some soil. Alright, this rubber plant is now in the soil, so let's see how this does over the next few months. Hopefully it continues to grow and does a lot better in its new home. Let's check in on how my lunch is doing here. Here is that heated box that I showed you, or this heated bag that I showed you. Let's open it up and take a look. And yeah, there it is. Looks like this thing is heated up pretty well. It's pretty hot. You can see the plastic raised a little bit because it's cooking in there. So lunch is ready. All right, lunch is done. Enough of the vlogging. I gotta get my head down and get some work done today. Today I'm here just working from home, and I wanted to experiment with a video or vlog format that I've been thinking about, and this kind of goes more specifically towards my background as a user experience designer. And I had this idea brewing in my head of doing videos of things that I purchased to solve very small problems in my life, and just basically taking you through a three-step type of video where in the beginning I kind of outline the problems that I'm trying to solve. In the middle is pretty much crafting up the solution of that problem, and then at the end basically doing like a review of that solution of the problem, whether or not I believe it actually solved those specific problems that I was experiencing. So this is the type of format that I've been thinking about, and I wanted to try it out today. I bought a couple things on Amazon that's just been sitting around. I haven't been touching it because I've been wanting to try this idea out, and I think today is going to be a great day to try that out. So let's try and do that little pilot of that video idea. Alright, so for this bit, I am going to do this a little bit more vlog style. If I were to make actual videos in this style, it would be a little bit more produced. But the first part of this type of video would involve walking you through the problem. And right now, the problem is this. Here's my bike right behind me that I use to commute over to Brooklyn, to where my studio is, and also various places here in New York. And I still do that in the dead of winter, even when it's freezing outside. And if you're familiar with the New York area, over the past couple weekends, we've gotten a couple snowstorms, and it's gotten pretty messy in the days after when it comes to the dirty sludge that you see all over the New York streets, and also all of the salt that's out there. So whenever I go out biking after snowstorms like that, my bike gets really, really dirty. And I am currently keeping the bike here in my apartment because the bike room in this building is completely packed out, so there's no spaces there, so we have to keep it here in the apartment. And the problem is my bike has been getting really, really dirty. As you can see right there, so much dirt. I really need to clean that off pretty soon because it's like salt and grime. But you know, there's one solution there. When I get home, I could, wipe down the bike outside, clean it up before I go in. But as you know, I'm a New Yorker and I don't got time for that. So I wanted to come up with a solution for bringing my bike into the apartment without getting my apartment so freaking dirty with all this dirt that I'm bringing into the apartment. I basically have to go into the front door and just like lift up my bike and just carry it all the way up here onto the rack, just to avoid getting all of my floors really muddy and dirty. So I was looking online and I think I found sort of a solution to it, and I'll take you through it. I've got the package over here, so let's open it up and try it out and talk to you about my thinking here. Alright, and as you see, I ordered this thing off of Amazon. Let's open this thing up and show you what I got. So this thing was pretty cheap, and they didn't have the coolest patterns, or there's very limited selection, so don't judge me on the pattern here. Alright, so I'm sure you're wondering, what the hell is this thing? Basically what it is a cover for your bike, and there are much more expensive versions of this thing. I think there's one out there called the VeloSock, but it costs like 75 bucks. And I just wanted to experiment with it, and I don't think $75 is a cheap enough experimentation. So I was just looking around for other options, and there kind of was this like knockoff version on Amazon. So I wanted to basically test this out as a concept, and if maybe I think I need something a little bit more premium in terms of material, then maybe I'll get the actual OG VeloSock. But it looks like a big pair of shorts. This thing's hilarious. And I think the best way to show you what this does is to put it on my bike while it's up here on the rack. As you may be able to tell from my heavy breathing, I finally was able to get this thing onto the bike, but it was a huge pain in the ass. I was just trying to wrap it around the back wheel first, bring it up to the front, but the wheel was like, turning around as I was trying to get it up, and I was trying to rotate the wheel to like get it to go over, but then the pedals were turning, and this elastic band was getting caught in the pedals, and it was also getting caught in these lugs here, and for some reason it was just like really annoying to get on. This is going to be the hallway test. So we're here in the entryway of the apartment, and the way I wanted to use this was basically I'd come in the front door, my bike would come in on top of our like entryway rug, and I would basically have that little sock near the entryway. I'd pull it out and hopefully cover up the wheels of the bike and be able to carry it into the apartment without tracking in all that dirt. So we're gonna try and experiment it here in the entryway, see if I could get that sock onto the bike here in the front door, and let's test this out and see how difficult it is for me to actually get this on. was the entryway test. Here is what it looks like when it is now up on my rack with the sock on top of the wheels, and it actually wasn't that bad when I was putting it on in the entryway. That's because I probably had a little bit of practice beforehand. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. It was a little bit cumbersome to do, although it actually wasn't that bad as I thought. I think the way I would kind of describe it is pretty much like putting on a duvet cover on top of a mattress. So it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to do, but I think a lot of similarities are there when you're like trying to put the elastic band over the bike. So maybe this is also just something that will get better with time and experience as I do this a lot more. But I do kind of like the idea of it. Basically, if my tires and everything is dirty and you put the sock over it, basically this sock will collect all of the dirt and all that stuff, and I could then unload that into a trash can, and I could easily throw this into the washing machine to clean it. As you can see, even with just the 2 or 3 times that I put it on, you're already getting some of the oil, chain oil, and all the grime and grease on the outside of the sock. But overall, I think it is kind of solved my problem. It's still kind of cumbersome to do, although, like I said, in the actual hallway test, it was surprisingly a little bit easier. And as long as I do it all on top of the rug that we have in front of there, then I really wouldn't be getting too much dirt anywhere. So let's see, maybe I'll give an update in a vlog maybe a few weeks from now as I try to use this, and we'll see whether or not I'm still using it. We're also cat sitting, Just's cat. So I've got a coworker here today at home. Just brought home some Shake Shack, and it's pretty cold, so our method for reheating takeout food is by using an air fryer. So we're gonna drop in these burgers and fries into the air fryer, and that's how we're gonna reheat this. So as we were having lunch, I was telling Jess about how I was putting the Velo sock on and how it was pretty difficult, and she started looking up YouTube videos on this, and it seems like the best way to do this is to actually use your foot and put it over one tire while holding the other side with your foot. So, man, that guy makes it look easy. These videos always make it look super easy, but maybe I'll try this out. So let's see how this goes. We'll do the hallway test again while trying to use my foot. Basically, I put my foot in there, stretch this out, and then put the front wheel. Alright, wheel on. Now I use my foot to stretch. I'll bend over and grab this. Go. It looks like a boxer, elastic boxer, and wow. have gotten a few questions about whether or not I am going to be keeping the studio because, as some of you may know, I recently moved and my old apartment literally was like a 10-minute walk away from here. And now I've kind of moved over a bridge and it's a little bit farther of a bike ride to get over here. And also kind of moved into a much bigger apartment where we do have our own separate office in there. And I actually wasn't sure if I was going to hold on to this space. When we were moving into the new apartment, I actually ended up renewing the lease here before a shorter term just to see and try it out and see if I actually come over here. And after kind of doing it for a few months, I do see the benefit in holding on to the space. It's really nice to be able to keep all of my work stuff separate from home stuff. And also whenever I do come in here, I just find myself a lot more productive. So as of right now, I do think that I'm going to stay here for the foreseeable future, as long as I could afford it. And yeah, so as of right now, I'm going to be holding on to the studio space. You may have noticed that it is a little bit messy here. I have been using this space as temporary storage as I have been moving apartments. So as you see, my bike packing bike has been sitting here for a bit. And I also brought all of my artwork and some of Jess's artwork and things like that, and have been stowing it away in various parts in here wherever I have space. So it's messy days here. I prefer it to be a little bit cleaner, but I'm thinking about making a couple changes in here. If you have any thoughts, let me know. Going out for a dinner date to Habino, having some sushi, making up for Valentine's Day.
heavier than tofu. Yeah, and then water come out a little bit, and then after you just use the katakuriko, the potato starch.
Yeah.
And
so potato starch, because we only have cornstarch, so potato starch is probably better, right?
I never tried by the cornstarch, but I think kind of same.
Okay.
But potato starches will be crunchy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
So we just got back from having dinner and we stopped by MOGMOG, and owner was super nice. We told him that we wanted to make some agedashi and he already started giving us some recommendations, and we picked up a few things. So we had gotten some potato starch. He said that this is much better to use instead of cornstarch. Picked up some suyu. We keep on seeing recipes that have suyu in it, so figured we'd get some. And he actually recommended this as an alternative, or a better premium alternative to suyu. And this is dashi soy sauce. So pick that up. And we were there right before closing, so the fish that he was selling was 15% off. So we had picked up this fatty tuna rice bowl. This looks so good. We're gonna have that tomorrow because we already had our dose of fatty tuna tonight. And lastly, since he did know that we were making agedashi, he recommended bonito flakes, and he just went in the back and gave us a little thing of bonito flakes because he said that topping it off with this would really make the agedashi. So MOGMOG, highly recommend it. The owner is super, super nice. And now we've got stuff to make some agedashi tofu tomorrow. So, as you might know, for a lot of my action videos for skiing and cycling, this is my tool of choice, which is the GoPro Hero 9. I've also got the max lens mod on top of it to get those ultra wide angle shots. I really like using this thing because I think it more accurately depicts speed and how fast you're going in some of the stuff, so I really like using this max lens mod. The one issue that I do have with this is the microphone, and in a previous video you may have seen I was encountering issues with some static in the background of the audio. And I tried to chat with GoPro to figure out what was behind this problem, and they just recommended doing a bunch of firmware updates, but even after doing those, I still get footage in here with static feedback in the background. So just trying to basically solve this issue, get better audio from this because I really like using it. It's a really good camera. So I decided to purchase this, which is the Media Mod. So it is a casing that goes over this, which has a built-in microphone, which is supposedly better than the onboard microphone here. But on top of that, it also has some hot shoe mounts on it. So if I wanted to, I could connect one of my external mics onto this to get a little bit better audio. So let's try this out. I'm kind of really excited to use this. Now this is a particular configuration that I have been wanting to try out with this Media Mod, which is pairing it with the Rode Wireless Go. Because there is two hot shoe mounts on this thing, you could mount both the transmitter and the receiver on it, and with that microphone jack in the back, that's where you would have it plug into. And the only issue after now trying to put this on is that the receiver is pointing backwards just because of the way the hot shoe attachment is configured here on the microphone. So I might have to find a hacky solution to try and get this thing to flip over and face forward where the camera is. But for the most part, I think this is a really interesting way to get much better audio with the GoPro. Alright, so I am testing out this Media Mod. I am going to be meeting up with a friend in Crown Heights for some coffee, but yeah, this is kind of the real world test of this microphone and Media Mod. Alright, so we're gonna finish off tonight by watching the Kanye thing on Netflix. Let's check it out. Good morning. Just went to the grocery store, picked up some extra ingredients, but Jess is making us some breakfast burritos this morning. So it was actually pretty nice out just a few minutes ago, but I just got this emergency alert on my phone that a snow squall is coming in, and just all of a sudden look up and it is snowing like crazy out there. And there it is. Pretty simple recipe, just deep frying some tofu with potato starch and then combining all of the sauce ingredients together into a pot. And took a little bit of a taste with our tester over here, and I approve of it, but let's dig into this one and you'll see the bonito flakes that the owner there at MOGMOG gave us. And I think this is going to be a nice little dinner snack here.